Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then welcome to my channel. My name is Georgia and I'm a knit and crochet designer, and today I'm going to show you the tutorial on how to make this gorgeous beach airy romper. It's called the airy romper, but it's like a beach all-in-one one piece. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. You do need to know how to crochet before you do this project, so I'm not going to teach you the actual stitches, like how to do a single crochet or how to do a chain or how to do a slip stitch. You do need to know that sort of stuff beforehand, but it is an easy pattern, so if you know the basics of crochet then you should be fine with this, and obviously I'm going to show you it step by step. If you prefer a downloadable version of like a PDF where you have it all written down with photos rather than a video format, then I do have that, and I'll leave the link in the description down below. There is also going to be a different version of this, and I'm going to quickly show you it because you might prefer it. So this is called the airy romper, and then I've got another one that's like a more modest version, and I don't know what to call it yet, but I'll go and get it. So I haven't woven in the ends yet, but it's basically the exact same style and shape, but without all of the holes. Just pausing it so you can actually see the back because I turned so quick. So if you prefer this version, I'll also leave the link to the PDF version of that in the description, but I don't have a video tutorial for this unfortunately, so I'll leave the link if you did want to get that, and maybe in the future I'll do a tutorial, but honestly they take so much time I had to choose which one I wanted to do the tutorial for, and I chose the blue one. I'll leave all the sizes on the screen for you now. So there are a lot of sizes, as you can see. There's 9 sizes, and there's also instructions on how to make this specific to your body as well. So you might, not everyone fits into these like specific categories. The most important measurement to look at when choosing your size is the hip width. Or the hip circumference, because the bust has notes on how to customize to make it bigger or smaller, and the length also has notes on how to customize to make it bigger or smaller. So the main thing to focus on is the circumference of the hips to make sure that it's going to fit the widest part of your body. I'll also leave the gauge on the screen. Gauge is so important. If your gauge is wrong, your garment will turn out the wrong size, either too big or too small, so make sure you have the correct gauge. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out more than you know, and helps me get the tutorials out to more and more people, because obviously they're free and I want as many people to enjoy them as possible. And also, if you want to stick around, then subscribe, and I've got more crochet and knit tutorials coming out pretty much every month, so stay tuned for that. But without any more talking, let's get crafting. Okay guys, so you're going to need some cotton Aran/worsted or size 4 yarn for this project, and this is the yarn that I'm using. You're also going to need an 8mm crochet hook, some scissors, a yarn needle, and some stitch markers as well are optional. Also, I'm going to make this video a bit quicker than usual, so every time I do an instruction, I'm going to leave all the different instructions for all the different sizes on the screen, and then you can just pause the screen, get your instruction for your size, and then we can carry on. So I've started off with a slip knot, and I'm going to start off with the beginning chain, and this is going to start off one of the legs of the romper. So I'm making the size small, so I'm going to chain 60. And you can make these nice and loose as well, because the rest of the project is going to have a bit of stretch in it, but this beginning chain doesn't. So yeah, just take that into consideration. Also remember guys, if you don't like this format or you prefer a written down PDF with all the instructions on, then I do have that as well, and I've left the link in the description for that if that is something that you want. Once you have your beginning chain, we need to join it in the round. So make sure your chain isn't twisted at all. And then you're going to join, so to the first chain that we did, you're just going to insert your hook and join with a slip stitch. After you've joined as well, just make sure there definitely are no twists in your chain. Okay, so now we're going to start off with round 1. So we're going to chain 2. Now the chain 2 throughout this pattern does not count as a stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 more, and that third chain does count as a stitch. And now what we're going to do is skip the first stitch. So this is the first stitch here. We're going to skip that and go into the next one, which is here. So I'm just going to yarn over, insert the hook, and then we're going to do a double crochet in that chain. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, so that's that one there, and go into the one after that with a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next chain and go into the one after that with a double crochet, and we're just going to continue with this pattern all the way around. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, and repeat that all the way around. And when you get to near the end, I'll show you how to join in the round. So I'm coming to the end of my round and I have 1, 2, 3 stitches left. So I'm going to chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, just like we've been doing for the whole round, and then you chain 1, skip the very last stitch of the round, and then we need to join to the second chain in that beginning chain 3 that we did. So we've got 1, 2, 3 chains, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to the second chain. So I've got a chain 1 there, which allows us to skip over this stitch, and then join with a slip stitch to that second chain within that beginning chain 3, and there you have the end of round 1. Okay, so now we're going to get started on round 2. We're going to chain 2 and turn the work. Now we're going to do a double crochet straight into this chain space here. So you can insert your hook straight into the hole, and you kind of do a double crochet like around the chain space. Chain 1, and then you're going to do a double crochet into the next chain space. Chain 1, double crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, and we're just going to repeat this around. So you start to have, you know, this kind of, that little bit there is just where I accidentally pulled that too hard and it's made a little loop, but that should sort itself out over time. So that's what it looks like. And when you get to the end of the round, you're going to do a double crochet in this last chain space and then join with a slip stitch to the second chain in that beginning chain 2 that we did. Now for round 3, chain 3, and we're effectively, you need to turn your work, we're effectively going to repeat round 1. So because we have a beginning chain 3, that counts as 1 stitch. So we're going to skip over this stitch and go straight into the chain space with a double crochet, chain 1, go into the next chain space with a double crochet, chain 1, and do this all the way around. And then when you get to the end of the round, you need to do a double crochet in the last chain space here, chain 1, and then join with a slip stitch to the second chain in that beginning chain 3. Okay, so now we've finished round 3, and this is what the joins should be looking like. So this is like the start and the end of the round. The way we know that is because the tail is here from where we started. And so now we've done 3 rounds, we're actually going to cut the yarn. I'm trying to do it with my left hand. We're going to cut the yarn and we're just going to tie that, and that is one leg all complete. Now what we're going to do is do another leg the exact same way. So you're going to do a chain of the exact same amount of stitches and follow the instructions of rows 1 to 3, the exact same again, but when you get to the end of that, don't cut the yarn. Okay, so I've done my 3 rows and I have both my legs. Now what we're going to do is join these 2 legs together with a slip stitch to the point where you've fastened off the first leg. So I've still got my yarn attached on this leg, and then I'm going to find the point where I cut the yarn on the first leg, which is here. And the reason I know which tail it is because I can see that this edge here was my beginning chain and this edge here was row 3. So I'm just going to insert my hook into that stitch there and join with a slip stitch. So now the two legs are joined. Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue working along in slip stitches. So if you bring the two edges of the legs together, sorry it's a bit fiddly. So if we bring the edges of the two legs together, we're going to close up this gap with slip stitches, and I'll leave on the screen how many slip stitches you need to do depending on what size. So the first one counts as 1, and then I'm going to go into the next stitch. I'm just going to go around the chain space to make it easier for myself, around the chain space in the other leg, join with a slip stitch, then go into the next stitch, into the next stitch, join with a slip stitch, making sure you get both legs each time, slip stitch, into the next one. I'm pretty sure I've done 5, but I will just double check. And try not to make your slip stitches too tight as well. And as you can see, I'm just starting to join those two legs together. So I've got 4 or 5 slip stitches here, and I'm going to carry on going until I have 17. Okay, so now I've got my legs joined together. From this point forward, we're going to go around the outside of the whole project. So those slip stitches in the middle, we're going to leave them be. And now, so we're going on to round 4. Round 4 is going to be worked around the whole legs, and then we're going to start to make the body. So for round 4, you want to chain 2. Now you can see there's a chain space here. We're going to go into that chain space. So you see the seam where the slip stitches are? There is a chain space either side. We're going to go into this one. And if you can tell the right side and the wrong side of your work, you want the right side facing. But if you don't know, then don't worry too much. Then, so I've done a double crochet in that chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space along, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space along, and we're just going to continue around one of the legs for now, because I know I said we're going all the way around, but when you get to the other side of the slip stitches, I just want you to make sure that you do the next bit correct. So carry on in this pattern, chain 1, double crochet in the chain space until you have done one leg and you've got round to the other side of that slip stitch seam. So now I've got round to the other side of the slip stitch seam, and I've done a double crochet in this chain space here. Now you can see there's a chain space there and there, which is either side of the slip stitch seam, but we're not going to go into these ones. We're going to go straight into the next one along, which is actually here. Okay, so don't go into these ones down here. We're going to stay in this one, otherwise you're going to end up with too many stitches in your round. So chain 1 and then double crochet into, hang on, into this chain space here. And then continue with chain 1, double crochet in the next. So that's what the other side of the crotch looks like. And then when you get to the end of round 4, I'll just show you how to join in the round. So I'm almost at the end of the round. This here is my beginning chain 2 that we did at the start of the round. And I still need to do a double crochet into this chain space here. So I'm just going to chain 1, double crochet in that chain space. And then I'm just going to join with a slip stitch to that beginning chain 2 that we did at the start of the round. And I'll leave on the screen how many stitches you should have in your round, not including the beginning chain 2. For round 5, we're going to chain 3 and turn the work. So now the wrong side should be facing. we're going to do a double crochet in this chain space here. Chain 1, double crochet in the next, and this time it should be easier. You're just going to continue in this pattern, chain 1, double crochet in the chain space, and do that all the way around both legs. And when you get to the end of the round, you need to chain 1, so you'll finish with a chain 1 and then join with a slip stitch to the second chain in the first chain 3 that we did. Round 6, chain 2, turn the work, double crochet in the chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space, continue around without doing any increases or decreases, and when you get to the end of the round, you're going to finish with a double crochet in the last chain space and then join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain 2. Okay, so I've finished round 6, and now what we're going to do is just repeat rounds 5 and 6, and I'm going to repeat that until I have a total of 13 rows, including the 3 leg rows we did. So I've currently got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you should as well. If you did do more than 3 leg rows, then obviously you'll have more than 6 rows now. So say like the pattern calls for 3 leg rows, and if you did 4, then obviously you need to add on 1 for the amount of rows that you need. So then say the pattern says repeat rows 5 and 6 until you have 13 rows in total. You'll actually be repeating rows 6 and 7 until you have a total of 14 rows. I hope that makes sense. Just remember to account for any extra leg rows you did in the beginning. So I have just finished round 13, the size small. So round 14, or the next round, I'll just leave all the info on the screen so it doesn't get confusing. For your next round, we're going to start decreasing for the waist. So we're going to chain 2 and turn, and then we're going to create chain spaces. So we need to, like, obviously because we've been doing that the whole time, but we're going to do a double crochet in the first chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space, and do this until you've made this many chain spaces. Okay, so because I'm doing the size small, I've done 8 chain spaces. So now we're going to create 2 decreases. So we're not going to chain 1, we're just going to go straight into the next stitch with a double crochet, into the next chain space, sorry. And then again, we're not going to chain 1, we're just going to go straight into the next chain space with a double crochet. And there we have 2 decreases because we haven't chained 1 in between the stitches. And I would suggest adding stitch markers into these 2 stitches so that you can just locate them on the next round. Now we're going to continue to work in the pattern until we've made this many chain spaces after the decreases you just created. So carry on with chain 1 and then double crochet into the next chain space until you have as many chain spaces for this round that it says on the screen. So my decreases were here, and now I've done 24 chain spaces after the decreases. So I have my 8 chain spaces at the start of the round, my 2 decreases, and then from here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around until I've got 24 chain spaces since I did the decreases. And now I'm going to do 2 more decreases. So without chaining 1, we're just going to go straight into the next chain space with a double crochet, and then straight into the next one as well. And then for the rest of the round, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space, and continue that to the end of the round. And then once you've done a double crochet in the last chain space, just join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain 2. I'm going to leave on the screen how many stitches you should have in your round, and remember that beginning chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. And obviously when you get to those decreases, you need to count like, so this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So make sure you don't count those as chain, like that's not a stitch, the chain space. It just is like 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. Hope that makes sense. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 and turn the work, and we're going to work in the pattern around. But when you get to the pairs of decreases, so here are my decreases, we're going to skip over them entirely. So we're going to work in the pattern along here. So I'm going to chain 3 and turn. I'm going to work along here, and when I get to the 2 decreases, I'm going to skip over them entirely. So I'll do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in here. So we're going to skip over these 2 completely, and what that's going to do is just create like a slightly bigger hole. So I've just worked in the pattern up until the decreases that we did in the last round, which you can see there, and now I'm just going to chain 1 and skip these and go straight into this chain space here. And then you can see that's just left like a slightly bigger hole than the rest of the holes in the pattern. And I would now just place a stitch marker in this stitch. You can get rid of the ones that were in the decreases if you had some there. Place a stitch marker in this stitch now, just to help you for the next round. And then when you get to the next pair of decreases in this round, do the same thing. So just skip over them completely and then finish the round as normal. So now I'm going on to row 16. I'll leave on the screen how many stitches you should have depending on your size. We're going to chain 2, and we're pretty much just going to repeat the last round. So we need to double crochet in the first chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space, and then when you get to the marked stitches or the big chain space, we're going to completely skip over it. So you double crochet in this one, chain 1, skip that one, and go straight into that next one with a double crochet. And you're also going to do that for the other marked chain space as well. And then when you get to the end of the round, this one is going to be slightly different. So don't join in the round. I'll show you what to do when we get there. So I'm just getting to the end of the round, and I'm going to double crochet into the last chain space as I normally would, and then I'm going to finish with a double crochet. So usually we would join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain 2, but we're going to do another double crochet in the same stitch that the beginning chain 2 is in. So the beginning chain 2 is here, and we're going to go into the base of that, which is there. So you don't need to chain 1, just go straight into there with a double crochet. And then we're not going to join the round because this is the start of the open back. Also, we have just added another stitch in here from where we didn't join in the round. This has created another stitch. So on this row, and they're going to be rows now instead of rounds because we haven't joined. On this row, we've only decreased by 3 stitches instead of 4 because we did decrease by 4, but then we've just added 1 in here. So, and then this isn't a chain space because there's no chain 1 in between it. So now we're going on to row 17. We're going to chain 3, turn the work, and then remember this isn't a chain space. So we're going to go into the next chain space, which is here, with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space, and then when you get to those bigger marked decrease, holes there, we're going to do what we did in the last round and just skip right over them, So make sure you do a chain 1 and then skip over it entirely for both those decreases, and then I'll just show you how to finish the row because it's slightly different to what we have been doing up to this point. So I'm just coming to the end of row 17, and you can see here I've got a double crochet there, and then that was the beginning chain 2 of the last row. So I have done a double crochet in the last chain space, chained 1, and then I'm going to finish with a double crochet in the top of that beginning chain 2 we did from the previous round. There we go. So there it should be like looking quite even on each side. There we are. And we're going to repeat this row 2 more times pretty much. So the only difference is the start and the end. So for this one we're going to chain 2, turn, double crochet in the first chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next. When you get to the marked stitch, skip right over it. Make sure you do a chain 1 and then skip over it, and then do the same on the next marked stitch. And when you get to the end of the row, you're going to finish with a double crochet in the last chain space and then a double crochet into the second chain of the beginning chain 3 we did in the last row. Okay, so I just finished that row, and you can see we're getting like a V shape, and that is going to be the open back. So now we chain 3, turn, and I'll put on the screen how many stitches you should have in your row and what row you should be on depending on your size. And then just carry on in pattern, remembering to skip over the marked stitch. So you're going to finish the round with a double crochet in there, and then chain 1, and then a double crochet in the beginning chain 2 of the previous row, so right in there. So I just finished row 19, and now we're done with the stitch markers. So you can actually take the stitch markers out if you want. Well, I don't know why you'd want to keep them in. So row 20, chain 2 and turn. Now we're not going to do any more decreases, so the stitch count should stay the same for each row until we go onto the cups. So double crochet into the chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the chain space, and then those marked stitches that we had, we're now just going to treat them like any normal other stitch. So when you get to that chain space, you just treat it the same as all the other chain spaces. You chain 1, double crochet into it, chain 1, and carry on, and then do that until you get to the end of the row. So I'm just coming to the end of row 20, and we're going to finish with a double crochet in the last chain space, and then another double crochet in the top in the second chain of the beginning chain 3 of the last row, which is in there. So make sure you don't miss that one. You don't want to end up with a different amount of stitches in like the rows. You want to keep it all the same now. Okay, so do excuse the look. I have not long woken up, and I just wanted to jump straight into filming today and try and get this done before I do anything else. So what you need to do is pull on your romper, and then you can see mine's just come up nicely to just under my breasts, and my top is kind of making it have a little kink here, but you can see the open back. So now I'm ready to go on to the next section, but if you want yours to sit like lower or something, then you can see like I need to go for a few more rows if I was to have it like that, or you can like pull it really tight, or you can have it more like loose. However you want to have it, just like place it like that on your body and then see where it comes up to. But I'm ready to go on to the bust section now. Okay, so I am now ready to go on to the straps. I finished the rows like you just saw up to my under boob, and I'm not going to fasten off. Okay, so now that I've finished the length, we're now going to do the back straps. So we don't need to fasten off. We're going to chain 52, or if you want a different length on your strap, you can chain more or less, but I'm going to chain 52. And now that I have that long chain, I'm going to do a double crochet into the third chain from the hook. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into that one with a double crochet. Then you want to chain 1, skip one of the chains, and then double crochet in the next. So I've just skipped that one and gone into the next one, chain 1, skip the next one and go into the one after that, and repeat that across the chain until you get to the bottom of the chain. Oh my god, guys, so my cat absolutely loves this blanket, and because of the focus, this yarn was really struggling to focus on the grey background, so I added the blanket to help, and now she's sat there. I mean, if you have a cat, you know I can't move her. You just know. I hope she's not too distracting. Please let me know if you think I should have moved her. So I've just gone along the chain with chain 1, skip 1, all the way down. So this is what it looks like when you get to the end of the chain. So I've got one more chain there. So we're going to chain 1. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to here. So this is the length of the romper, and that's like the first chain space in the last row that we did, and I'm just going to join it there. Like that. She's so distracted. I will move her in a sec. So I'm going to cut the yarn, but you can see the strap kind of just like extends straight from the romper, but I will show you. And this is on the back, by the way. This is a back strap, but I'll show you in a sec. Let me just cut my yarn. So you can see this is the back of the romper with the V there, and then the strap just extends out from the top of the V. You can kind of maybe see it a bit more clearly. There's the strap coming out of there, and now we're going to attach our yarn. So I've made a slip knot, and we're going to attach the yarn to that corner there. Here's the edge of the V, and I'm just going to go into that bit there. So there's a chain 2 here, and I'm going to go into the second chain from that chain 2. Join with a slip stitch, and then chain 52, and then we're just going to do the exact same thing again. So do a double crochet in the third chain from the hook, chain 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet in the next, and do that all the way down. And then once again I've got 1 chain left, so I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to this stitch here, which is, you know, in the last row of the body. It's like the second double crochet in, join with the slip stitch, and then we can cut the yarn. So here we now have our 2 back straps, and we can go on to the cup section now. Okay, what you need to do for the cups is you need to count out the chain spaces in your last row. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 34, and I need to find the innermost chain space. So half of 34 is 17, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So obviously there's 17, because I've got an even number, there's 17 on that side and 17 on that side. So this is the innermost stitch, but I'm going to attach my yarn to either side because it needs to be in the chain space rather than on the actual stitch. So I'm just going to go with this one. So there's just going to be like half an extra stitch on this side, if that makes sense, but it really won't be noticeable, so don't worry about that too much. Obviously, if you've got an odd number of stitches, then you'll have a chain space right in the middle of your project. So we're going to attach the yarn onto there with a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 3. So we're going to carry on creating chain spaces. So I've chained 3. I'm going to do a double crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space. Sorry if you can hear my cat's bell. She is still sitting in the same place. I just decided to move. Classic. So for this bit, I am going to make 8 chain spaces because that's what the pattern calls for my size, but I'll leave on screen how many you should do depending on what size you're making. So this is where I attach my yarn. You can see the tail is there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chain spaces. So once you've finished the chain spaces that you need to do for the cup, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Double crochet in the first chain space, chain 1, double crochet into the next chain space, and when you get to about halfway on through the cup, so for example I've got 8 chain spaces, so when I get to about the middle, which is about this one here, I'm going to skip it completely, but it's going to be slightly different to when we did the decreases before. So I've got 1, 2, 3 chain spaces. I've reached about the middle of the 8. This is the middle one approximately of the 8 that I did. So I'm going to chain 1, skip over that chain space completely and go into this one here. And then continue as normal to the end of the cup row. So chain 1, go into the next chain space. And then when you go into the last chain space, make sure you finish with a double crochet in the second chain from the beginning chain 3 we did at the start of this cup section. So at the start of the last row we did. Also, you want to place a stitch marker in the decreased stitch, so in the middle one there, so that you know where it is for going forwards. For the next row, we're going to chain 3, turn the work, double crochet in the next chain space, chain 1, double crochet in the next chain space. When you get to the marked chain space, which is my next one, you're going to skip over it. So chain 1, skip over it, double crochet in the next, and then continue to the end of the row. There we go. So you can kind of see that we're just starting to get like a triangle shape. So now we're going to chain 2 and turn. So chain 2 and turn, double crochet in the chain space, chain 1. When you get to the marked chain space, so you want to, sorry I forgot to say, but you want to place your stitch marker in the new decrease stitch. So mine's there now, so I'll take it out of that one and put it in that one. When you get to that new marked stitch, skip over it completely, and we're just gradually decreasing by 1 square on every row for the cups. And make sure you finish with a double crochet in the second chain on that beginning chain 3 of the last row we did. So now I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 chain spaces left. That's not a chain space. So we've got 4 left in the row. So we're going to keep going in this pattern. So I'm going to chain 3, turn, and every time you get to that marked stitch, you're just going to skip over it. And you're going to keep doing that until you only have 1 chain space left. So no matter what size you're doing, keep going until you only have 1 chain space left for the cups. So now I've got to the point where there's only 2 chain spaces left. I've done a chain 3 and the first chain space is the decrease. So I'm going to skip right over it and go into the next one. Chain 1, finish with a double crochet in the chain 2. And then this should be the last row. So I'm going to chain 2, double crochet in there, chain 1, and then that's the big decrease there. So I'm literally just going to finish with, you see we've got chain 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to go into the second chain out of that chain 3, and that is 1 chain space left on the row because I've got stitch, stitch, chain space. So it is really hard to show you, but you can see the triangle shape that I've created. And from there, I'm going to chain 50 and we're going to do a strap in the exact same way that we did the back straps. So don't fasten off, just chain 50 and then double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, chain 1, skip 1, and do that all the way down the chain. And then you're going to join with a slip stitch to here. So I'm down to the end of the chain. And now I'm just going to join to the top of the triangle that we created with a slip stitch. And then you can cut the yarn and you can see the strap just extends from the triangle. So this is the front of the romper. It's a little bit on the wonk, but the 2 straps coming out of the sides are the back straps. Then you've got the triangle shape there, which we just created with the strap extending from it. And you can kind of see the V shape in the back as well through there. So now what we need to do is the other cup. Where we joined for the first cup in the centermost chain space, so we can see here, this is where I joined for my first cup. We're going to join in the exact same chain space. So there's the triangle coming out. This is the middlemost chain space in the last body round. So I'm going to join my yarn here with a slip stitch, and we're basically going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it in reverse. So when I say reverse, I just mean like before we had the right side facing and now we're going to have the wrong side facing. That's the only difference. And because I didn't specify before, you may have done yours with the wrong side facing first and now you're going to do yours with the right side facing. But we're going to join here and then follow the instructions again exactly, so you get 2 cups the exact same, and then do the strap the exact same as well. Okay guys, so I am yet to weave in my ends, but I'm too impatient. So that's the front, that's the back. Let's try it on and see how it looks. Obviously I've got my clothes on, but I'm not about to put a bikini on just to, because I've literally got 2 of these now that are identical. So the front and the back straps need to be tied together, and obviously like the tighter you tie them, more up it'll be. Oh my god, I can't find my words. So like if you want to slouch your look, then make the straps shorter or longer or however you want. And then, okay, I haven't done mine long enough. I actually quite like it when the bow is on the back. There we have it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. Because I understand like this one wasn't as easy as all the others that I've done in the past. So if you do need help, like, I'm more than happy to help. Anyway, I really hope you like this tutorial. I tried to keep the pace a bit faster, so let me know if you prefer that. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy it. Tag me on socials. I want to see your rompers and all the different colours and all the different styles. Also subscribe and click the little bell so that you don't miss any tutorials from me. But that's all. I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day or night wherever you're listening, and I'll see you in the next one.